so we can unravel the propaganda that is taking place throughout the media and with the Democrat Party today. And we, as usual, will take our time, because you're hearing the media, as I speak, say that now that Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats are going to formalize the impeachment inquiry process, they've taken a defense away from the president of the Democrats. But that's not what they've done. I have a copy of the resolution in front of me. This is not called an impeachment resolution. This is not called a resolution for an impeachment inquiry. It's called a resolution. And as pointed out by Thomas Lifson at the American Thinker, and in my own notes too as well, when Nancy Pelosi was walking by an NBC News so-called reporter, she made the distinction. She said it's not an impeachment resolution as she walked by. It's not an impeachment resolution. It's a resolution. Now, why does that matter? For several reasons. The reporters are too stupid or too ideologically partisan to understand the difference. An actual resolution for an impeachment inquiry voted on by the full House would confer rights, really equal rights, on the Republican minority to subpoena witnesses, on the president and his counsel to be present whenever there's witness testimony, to present evidence and so forth, and without the chairman or the majority approval. That's what you saw in the Nixon House impeachment inquiry resolution. That's what you saw in the Clinton House impeachment resolution. As I will read this resolution to you, 7.5 to 8 pages, you'll see that's certainly not what they've done here, and certainly not what they're proposing here. But the media want you to believe it is so. And I also believe that they're trying to pull a fast one on the federal judiciary. That is, so the federal judiciary will now be able to say, well, the full House has voted, because the Obama judge, and she is an Obama judge, and that wasn't in many of the news reports, that it ruled in favor of the House Judiciary Committee. Not the House as a whole, but the House Judiciary Committee. That's 6E grand jury information, 302, that is FBI raw notes, and other underlying information in the Mueller report should be provided to the House Judiciary Committee as a result of its impeachment inquiry, I believe will be overturned. For the very reason I said. There are separation of powers issues here, and a committee of Congress does not represent the will of Congress. It represents the will of a committee of Congress. And there's judicial precedent to support what I'm saying. But of course, again, the media didn't report that, and they're not going to. Media are arguing solves their problem of formalizing an impeachment inquiry, even though Nancy Pelosi and Steny Hoyer have both said, no, this isn't about an impeachment inquiry. It's formalizing the position that Nancy Pelosi took 5 weeks ago. And when you look at the resolution online, you'll see the word resolution. It doesn't say House impeachment hearing resolution, House impeachment inquiry resolution. They'll get to that later, but that's not the heading on the document. Here's the resolution. Directing certain committees to continue their ongoing investigations as part of the existing House of Representatives inquiry, you understand? Because they do not want to give the minority the rights that the minority gets. Into whether sufficient grounds exist for the House of Representatives to exercise its constitutional power to impeach Donald John Trump, President of the United States of America, and for other purposes. Resolved that the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence and the Committees on Financial Services, Foreign Affairs, the Judiciary, Oversight and Reform, and Ways and Means are directed to continue their ongoing investigations as part of the existing House of Representatives inquiry into whether sufficient grounds exist for the House of Representatives to exercise its constitutional power to impeach Donald John Trump, President of the United States. Media, do you understand what the words mean? You're so damn stupid, or you're so damn in the tank. Can't you explain things to the American people and let them draw their own conclusions? This is not a formal House inquiry. This is a vote, as Nancy Pelosi says. A vote for the existing investigative activities that are going on. With 6 committees. 3 committees, I guess. Section 2. For the purpose of continuing the investigation described in the first section of this resolution. So they're continuing the investigation. Why are they doing that? They're in a rush. They want to give the imprimatur to everything that's been done as a formal hearing. Try to retroactively bring it under the umbrella of the full House. So they can go into court and say that. And for other reasons. For the purpose of continuing the investigation described in the first section of this resolution, the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence is authorized to conduct proceedings pursuant to this resolution as follows. The chair of the Permanent Select Committee of Intelligence shall designate an open hearing or hearings pursuant to this section. 2. Notwithstanding Clause 2J2 of Rule 11 of the Rules of the House of Representatives, upon recognition by the chair for such purpose under this paragraph during any hearing designated pursuant to paragraph 1, the chair and ranking minority member of the Permanent Select Committee shall be permitted to question witnesses, big deal, for equal specified periods of time longer than 5 minutes, as determined by the chair. The time available for each period of questioning under this paragraph shall be equal for the chair and the ranking minority member. So the chairman and the leading Republican get the same amount of time to question the witness, and of course the chair will decide how long that amount of time is. The chair may confer recognition for multiple periods of such questioning, but each period of questioning shall not exceed 90 minutes in the aggregate. Only the chair and the ranking member, or a Permanent Select Committee employee, if yielded to by the chair or the ranking member, may question witnesses during such periods of questioning. So the other members cannot. At the conclusion of questioning pursuant to this paragraph, the committee shall proceed with questioning under the 5-minute rule. Number 3, to allow for full evaluation of minority witness requests. You see, under the Clinton and Nixon impeachment processes that were in place, the minority didn't have to request permission to call witnesses. There wasn't an evaluation of minority witness requests. They called witnesses. See, they will not cede any control. To allow for full evaluation of minority witness requests, the ranking minority member may submit to the chair in writing any request for witness testimony relevant to the investigation described in the first section of this resolution within 72 hours after notice is given for the first hearing designated pursuant to paragraph 1. So the lead Republican on the committee, Collins in the Judiciary Committee, Nunes in the Intel Committee, and so forth, they have to provide the names or name of a witness or witnesses to the chairman 72 hours in advance and get permission from the chairman to call the witnesses. A complete break from the past. Any such request shall be accompanied by a detailed written justification of the relevance of the testimony of each requested witness to the investigation described in the first section of this resolution. So in addition of asking the chairman 72 hours before if a witness or witnesses can be called, they need a detailed justification in writing provided to the chairman. The media aren't telling you this, I'm telling you this. I'm reading right from it. 4A, the ranking minority member of the Permanent Select Committee is authorized, with the concurrence of the chair, to require as deemed necessary to the investigation. Again, that means Nadler and Schiff and the others have to approve it, by subpoena or otherwise, the attendance and testimony of any person, including at a taking of a deposition, and the production of books, records, correspondence, memoranda, papers, documents, and by interrogatory the furnishing of information. But if they don't get permission from the chair, they can't do it. In the case that the chair declines to concur in a proposed action of the ranking minority member pursuant to subparagraph A, the ranking minority member shall have the right to refer to the committee for decision the question whether such authority shall be exercised, and the chair shall convene the committee promptly to render that decision. So they'll have a vote of the full committee, which is controlled by the Democrats. Have there been a single Democrat who's voted against Nadler or Schiff on any of these committees? No. But the media, they want you to believe that something really has been done here. See, subpoenas and interrogatories so authorized may be signed by the ranking member and may be served by any person designated by the ranking minority member. The chair is authorized to make publicly available in electronic form the transcripts of depositions conducted by the Intel Committee in furtherance of the investigation described in the first section of this resolution, with appropriate redactions for classified and other sensitive information. Now, isn't that precious? They don't feel that way about the Mueller report. They don't want appropriate redactions for classified information or sensitive grand jury information. It doesn't say the chair must. It says he's authorized, or she, to make publicly available the electronic form of the transcripts. The Intelligence Committee is directed to issue a report setting forth its findings and any recommendations and appending any information and materials the committee may deem appropriate with respect to the investigation described in the first section of this resolution. The chair shall submit such report and appendices along with any supplemental, minority, additional, or dissenting views filed pursuant to Clause 2.1 of Rule 11 to the Committee on the Judiciary and make such report publicly available so the minority can file a minority report. The report required by this paragraph shall be prepared in consultation with the chairs of the Foreign Affairs and Oversight and Reform Committees. The House authorizes the Committee on the Judiciary to conduct proceedings related to the impeachment inquiry referenced in the first section of this resolution, pursuant to procedures submitted for printing in the Congressional Record, including any procedures as to allow for the participation of the President and his counsel. This doesn't grant. You know, I've been listening to the media, haven't you, Mr. Badu? That doesn't grant the right of the President's counsel to participate. Does it? It says that he might allow procedures as to allow for the participation. It's authorized to promulgate additional procedures as it deems necessary for the fair and efficient conduct of committee hearings held pursuant to the resolution, provided the additional procedures are not inconsistent with the procedures referenced above. And then the ranking member, minority member of the Committee on Judiciary is authorized with concurrence of the chair on the subpoenas again. This is a disgrace. This is a disgrace. You're about to find out who the dumbest and most ideologically driven members of the media are. And as the President said in a press release that was just released, statement from the press secretary, the resolution put forward by Pelosi confirms House Democrats' impeachment has been an illegitimate sham from the start, lacked any proper authorization by a House vote, continues this scam by allowing Chairman Schiff, who repeatedly lies to the American people, to hold a new round of hearings, still without any due process for the President. The White House is barred from participating at all until Chairman Schiff conducts 2 rounds of one-sided hearings to generate a biased report for the Judiciary Committee. Even then, the White House's rights remain undefined, unclear, uncertain, because those rules still haven't been written. Does nothing, folks, to change anything. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.